It's mid-May and the weather's warming up. The seedlings produced from the crosses made this time last year are now large enough to transplant into 5-litre pots. The seedlings have done very well, and there's some healthy leaf growth on most of them. The apples producing them were harvested last September and October, pips extracted, stored in the fridge for a couple of months to stratify them, then sown into pots containing seed compost. In January, once they had emerged, they were transplanted into individual 1-litre pots and placed in these cold frames. The seedlings I've taken from the cold frame are now between 9 inches and a foot tall and maybe have 10 to 13 true leaves. They've been growing in these 1-litre pots, but I'm now going to transplant them into these 5.5-litre pots, where they'll spend the next maybe 3 or 4 years of their lives. I filled these pots with a 50-50 mixture by volume of a multi-purpose compost and topsoil. Topsoil can either be from your garden or, if you've got access to it, from molehills. Plus I've added 6 grams of a controlled release fertiliser, just to give them a little bit of a high nutritional plane to really get them growing in their first year. So all I do is take out roughly a cylinder of soil from the larger pot, take the label from the smaller pot, put it in the larger pot, and then tap out the seedling, gently press it into the larger pot, firm around the gaps, the hole I've made, and then re-top with a little bit of the soil I took out. It's always useful at this stage of their lives to stake them, so I use a 2-foot plant stake like this. Insert it quite far into the pot so that it doesn't get blown over, and then I tie the seedling about 2/3 up the stem with a soft twine. As the seedling grows, you may have to put additional ties in and eventually replace the plant stake with a bamboo stake. The last thing I do is to put a loop lock tag with the appearance of the cross, in this case a Beauty of Bath female, Sunset male, and the number of the cross. In this case it's number 22. It's seedling 1 from that cross, and I tie the tag around the base of the stake. Later on, as the seedling grows and becomes stronger, I'll probably put this around the stem. So this is now ready to go onto the standing area. The 5.5-litre pots are transferred to a standing area until I can find somewhere permanent for them in the garden. The potted up seedlings have been standing here for a few days, and it's now time to transfer them into the final positions where they'll remain for the next 2 or 3 years. What I've done is to arrange the pots in rows and sink them by about 1/3 of their depth into the grass, and then build up the soil between the pots into a raised bed, so that just the top couple of centimetres of the pot are proud of the surface. This will help protect against drought conditions and should lessen the number of times I have to water them during the summer. Object of this season is to get them to grow as tall as possible, produce as many leaves as possible, and hence make their way at least partially through the juvenile phase of development. It's the middle of September, and here you can see the seedlings were planted as pips in January, are now lined out in a nursery bed, each in a 5-litre pot, and staked. In the first growing season, many of them have made nearly a metre of growth, and in general they're looking quite healthy. Next to them is a bed containing seedlings in their second year of growth. Many have made between 1.5 and 2 metres vertical growth in total.